Welcome to Keeping Tabs. I'm Tabitha Crock, and every Monday we talk to a different community member here in North Idaho. And then we end our weeks with something I'm passionate about, the adventures, outdoors, and sports. So follow along to hear some amazing stories and meet some very interesting people. Okay, today I have Katie Williams with me, and I am really interested to hear about what she does. I got to meet Katie through a mutual friend. It was like an instant connection, and I've been following her Instagram, and this woman is amazing, and I cannot wait to talk to you all about the great stuff. So Katie is also known as Traveling Spud on Instagram, so if you want to go follow her and see what she's up to. So Katie, tell us a little bit about
Hi.
and you're from Idaho, so tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for having me. This is awesome. I grew up in Twin Falls, Idaho, and so I'm an Idaho girl through and through. I went to University of Idaho in Moscow, and then I went to live in San Francisco for about 6 years, and I worked in tech marketing. And I loved my jobs, but I had the travel bug like mega. So I decided to quit my job and go travel the world solo. And I ended up going, I think I was 26 when I left, 27. And then I traveled for 14 months by myself around the world. And then I kind of ran out of money. So I came back to the US, and I really thought I was going to go live in California again, in San Francisco. But I got there and it's just like too chaotic after all that traveling, and went to San Diego, checked it out. It's not for me. And Visit Idaho actually invited me to do a campaign through my blog because I was keeping a travel blog the whole time. So I came to Boise. They invited me to Boise to do a little like tour around, check it out. I've been here obviously a bunch, but when I was younger. So when I came to Boise, I was like, oh my gosh, wait, Idaho's cool. I really like it. It's hip. So I ended up back here in Boise, and I still do my travel blog, but I also am a marketing freelancer on the side. So
Awesome. Well, awesome. Have you always been like drawn to traveling ever since you were younger?
yeah, I think that time I got the travel bug, we didn't travel a ton when I was young, but I think I got it. I went to University of Idaho, and I had the opportunity to do a like volunteer trip, and we could pick between Ghana, Africa, or I think it was Chile. And I was like, oh my gosh, Africa, that is like way too far away and scary, and I don't know. And so I picked Chile, and then they swapped everybody. So I ended up going to Africa and Ghana, and it was like the most eye-opening, amazing experience probably I've ever had. And I think that kind of opened my eyes, like, okay, if I can go here and travel to this far off land, I can go anywhere. So that kind of got my travel bug going. And then I studied abroad in London,
Oh, yeah.
and that helped. So
Yeah.
a few international trips, but
What pushed you to do that 14 months solo? Like, is there something or someone that said, you got to do this?
it was like my heart. I don't know. I literally just couldn't stop thinking about traveling. And everyone was like, well, you get to travel for work. So isn't that enough? Because I was doing events. I got to travel around the US. And I was thinking, yeah, but like working while traveling versus just traveling. And I started following a bunch of different travel blogs. And I saw that it was possible. Like women were actually traveling solo. And I was freaked out about that. I was like, no way am I going to travel by myself. But then I just started reading online. And I think that's kind of what pushed me, is realizing there's so many people who have done it and have been successful and who've loved it. And no one would go with me. So
Well,
kind of
so
how it happened.
with women traveling, did you ever find any situations that were like, oh man, this is a little bit scarier, or these are the reasons why, I can see why women don't like to travel alone?
So there were some situations that were kind of like, oh, this is weird. But I stayed in hostels mainly, which another thing, people are freaked out about hostels, but I'm like a big proponent of them because you meet so many cool people and other fellow travelers. So I met a lot of people. While you're traveling solo, you're never really alone. Like I never felt like I was exploring alone or going to lunch or dinner alone. There were always people around that would go with you or hang out with you. So in that situation, I didn't feel alone all the time, but I was very cautious. Like as a solo female, you have to be super cautious. So like, I didn't go, like if it was nighttime, I was never outside walking by myself, never. I kept things on me, like in the front of me. I never really turned around to like pretend like I couldn't find my phone. Like I put my purse straps on like the ground, like in front of me. So I knew exactly where everything was, if that makes sense. But in terms of like feeling unsafe, it was not very often because I was with a bunch of other people. So I didn't feel unsafe too much, which I think a lot of people, that's a big fear.
Yeah, I
So.
know a lot of people that want to do it, but that's one of their biggest fears. So with that, you just launched something really, really cool. And I want to hear about what you're doing, this new project that you just started.
Oh yeah. So I just launched my Ultimate Guide to Traveling the World. It's a master course for anyone who wants to quit their job and travel the world. It's essentially kind of to help people get over their overwhelm and all of their fears, plus teaching them how to budget. Like, what do you pack? What do you need? How do you need to like plan out your entire trip? Um, Little things like, what do you do about laundry? What do I do about my cell phone? My visa, immunizations, like if you're a woman, like feminine hygiene, like I've basically like crossed everything, like safety if you're traveling solo and how to get along with your travel partner if you're not. So like every single thing that I've learned throughout my travels is in this course of like put my heart and soul into it. And then I'm also mentoring people through it. So there's one-on-ones with me if they have questions, and then there's a Facebook group to like bring all the travelers together.
Oh,
Um,
really cool.
yeah, it's so far so good. I just launched it on Monday, so it's been fun to see the new people that have joined, and I'm excited to like help other people, I mean, conquer their fears and go on their dream trip. So,
Yeah. So, I mean, you have a huge group of people that are all travelers and you probably stay connected. How has this COVID really kind of put a wrench into all these travels?
oh my gosh, it's so sad. It's like, I mean, I have a lot of friends that are in the travel industry too, and it's sad to see just like their incomes just completely tanking. Like even just my travel blog, it's not my full-time job, but my traffic was like pretty steady, and then it just completely dropped because people weren't traveling. It's starting to pick up more now because um, people are starting to like plan trips or road trips and stuff again. But COVID has really been depressing. I actually had a trip planned to Lebanon in August, so that got canceled to next year. And I had a trip to Hawaii that got canceled, but it's like, privilege. I don't need to go to all these things. Hoping that I can
Yeah, I was
soon.
gonna ask, what is your next trip, or do you have something planned?
I do. Okay. So this is like, I know it's up in the air. I have a trip to Alaska in the end of July, which is like coming up. So we're still trying to figure out if that can happen anymore. Alaska has this rule now, like if you get to the airport, you have to get swabbed. We are going to be pretty rural, so it may not be too much of an issue, but and I'm staying with a friend's family, but we're trying to discuss if that's going to happen or not, but I hope so. I've never been to Alaska. Have you been?
No, I really want to go. I think it's amazing. And yeah, I was just talking to someone that goes and works on the fish boats, and they were like,
Oh,
I have to quarantine 14 days before I leave. And then when I get there, these either were like, there's a lot of rules in Alaska, but I've always wanted to go because it's so gorgeous.
I know. It looks amazing. And I have a bunch of friends from University of Idaho that actually are from Alaska. I think a lot of Alaskans go there for school. So yeah, so I'm excited. I hope it happens. We'll
Have
see.
a favorite country, continent, state? Where's your favorite place? I know there's probably a lot, and you've probably been asked that, but do you have a favorite?
Um, no, but I definitely have a lot of favorites. But if I had to pick, I would probably say Japan is one of my top.
Um,
Um, weirdly, I loved Slovenia in Europe. Like I didn't even know what Slovenia was. And then it's right by Italy and Croatia. And it's like a mixture of the two. And I loved it. Um, and then gosh, there's so many that are popping out, like Thailand. I really, if I had to pick a part of the country or the world that I love the most, I think it'd be Asia.
I bet it's amazing.
Yeah, just the beaches and the landscape and the people. It's just great. Like Southeast Asia.
Like, do you have like a weirdest food that you've tried while you're traveling?
Oh gosh. I have tried so many things. Like I don't even know, we could do a whole podcast on what I've eaten. I've eaten snake. I've eaten snake blood, drank snake blood. I've eaten rat. I've eaten camel. I've eaten guinea pig. Um, what was the most recent weird one? Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's been another one, but literally all pretty gross.
Yeah.
I mean, the camel wasn't that bad, but it's just kind of like, what am I ate that in Iran. So I've been to some crazy places, but that I ate there.
Yeah. So a little bit about you. Let's find out what's your favorite food overall? Like, doesn't matter with traveling. What is your favorite food?
Avocados and sushi and
Mm.
pizza.
I've been trying avocado with that everything with bagel.
Oh, from Trader Joe's. Everything from Trader Joe's is like, I love.
Yeah, follow her, and she does some great food like videos. I've tried so many things because of you.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I haven't done them since I live with my boyfriend, and I get awkward of doing video around him. But I need to keep those up.
Yeah, well, when I'm with my boyfriend, he'll like comment after my podcast or my videos.
That's funny. That's awesome.
Favorite music?
Ooh, I'm kind of a pop girl in rap and country. So I kind of like everything, but it depends on my mood. I like a lot of piano covers, but man, I love a good new pop song. So cliche.
That's awesome. So who is your biggest inspiration?
Ooh, that's good. I haven't been asked that in a long time. I think I love Oprah. I'm so obsessed with her. I think she would be my biggest, just like, because she's so eloquent and she has just done so much with her life in terms of helping people. And that's a great legacy, I think, to leave around. So I love her. She's on my mood board. I'm like, or vision board. I'm like, can I just meet her, please? That's all I want.
So what is one life lesson you have learned the hard way?
Oh gosh. That's really a good question. I think it's been to follow my gut no matter what. Because I've been in situations where I know something's wrong, but I'm doing it anyway. I'm saying yes to it, or I'm like taking the job just because it's going to give me more money or whatever. And I think even though society is telling me I have to do it, my gut's saying don't. So it's like, it's listening to that inner voice, if you will. Like, for example, when I took my big trip around the world, it's like, everyone was like, you're crazy. Like, you're going to get murdered. Things are going to get taken. Like, things are going to happen to you. And I just had to be like, but inside, I just know that I have to do this. And it ended up being the best thing that's ever happened to me. So like recently I had a job offer, even though I work for myself now, I had a job offer and it was great money, but I was like, I love working for myself. So like, just stay the course, Katie, work for yourself. You know, this is wrong. So I think it's just listening in and trying my hardest to like know gut versus like what other people are trying to tell me is right.
So on that, is there a piece of advice you would give a younger Katie?
Oh, yeah, it's all going to work out. Everything's going to be okay. You don't have to worry so much. You're going to meet a guy. You're going to like have a great life. It's all going to be fine. Because I've stressed out a lot for sure.
I think we're all a little guilty of that.
Oh yeah, completely.
So for a new traveler out there wanting, and hopefully after COVID slows down and how we maybe get back to normal, give me 2 or 3 pieces of advice for any new traveler out there.
I think the first one I would say is stay flexible. I know a lot of people are big planners, and so you want to have every little detail planned out, especially if you're taking like a longer trip, like a long-term trip, like what I teach in my course. You kind of want to have a little bit of flexibility so that if something cool comes up, you are able to take that opportunity and go with it. I've had so many experiences with where I had a plan and then I was like, oh, I should just cancel this. This is way cooler to do this. So stay flexible. Kind of, I would say start getting your travel points and miles started now. Like for example, I put every single thing that I buy on my credit card, my travel credit card. Now, if you're like super in debt, maybe this isn't like the best advice, but if you are pretty good at paying it off, or you're paying it off each month or whatever you're doing, like getting those points, because it's essentially like getting free money on top of the money you're already spending. So I would recommend starting with the points and signing up for every frequent flyer mile program that you can, because that's all free and you can get on all of those frequent flyers. And then as you start taking flights with all those, you can get points. And then a lot of times those points will transfer to your credit card points. So I use the Chase Sapphire, for example.
I think that's a good advice right now, since a lot of us are staying home. It's a time to save for these trips.
Totally. Yeah. And then the probably third thing I would say is like the saving situation. If you are super passionate about traveling, or even if you just get like 2 weeks out of the year, whatever, like start putting it as a priority. Maybe instead of your Starbucks every day, like $5 goes into your account. What I did is I set up an automatic, like $25 would go in like every couple weeks, or you could do like however much, like $100 goes into your travel account, and just create a new account with savings. And then you can also, a lot of these banks allow you to like round up to the nearest, like let's say it's 450, it'll round up to the nearest number. So that 50 cents will go into your savings. And that's a good way to just like start adding up cash.
Exactly. There's like an app for that too. So you can start saving that extra, like,
yeah,
up or whatever they call
There's
it.
Acorn. Acorn is good too. Everyone's obsessed with that one. So those are probably, I have so many tips. Like,
I know. I was like,
those are probably,
you start bringing up apps. You probably know of some amazing travel apps. Do you recommend any of them for us?
yeah, I think my favorite one, let's see. Okay. So my favorite like booking travel app is Skyscanner. You may have heard of it, but it's like you can just type in from where you are to anywhere. And I use this a ton on my trip, because I was like, okay, I'm here in Germany and it's freezing, it's winter, and I need to get out of here because it's turning dark at 3 p.m. Let's figure out where I can go. Okay, I'm going to go to Greece because it's going to be hot and it's $30 flight. And I just looked at this list of places to go. So it's like here to anywhere. I love that feature on Skyscanner. And then there's Rome to Rio, which is another really good one that's like connects where you're going in the fastest way possible, or most scenic or whatever. But it shows you like, okay, you need to take a bus to get here and a train to get here and a flight to get here. Those are kind of more long-term travel apps, but they're ones that I love.
Well, those things are so helpful. Like,
totally. And Google Maps is one of my faves,
right?
Obviously also.
And what is your favorite, or where have you enjoyed traveling most in the U.S.? So for people that are like, hey, we're stuck in the U.S. for a while because of everything going on, where are some like tips or some great places you can travel inside the United States?
Ooh, good question. I think the national parks are like key. I did an awesome road trip. It was like in a weekend. Flew into Vegas. I did the Grand Canyon, Zion, Antelope Canyon, and Horseshoe Bend, all in like a weekend. You probably want more time than that, but those parks are great. And then Idahoans don't want me to talk about Idaho, but my blog is literally about Idaho. So Idaho is like the best, but don't come here. Just kidding. But like, I don't know. I have a lot of blog posts about Idaho, but I personally am trying to go. I grew up in Twin Falls and like never explored down really that area. So I'm going to go down to Thousand Springs and do some City of Rocks and Craters of the Moon. kind of go around there. There's like some stand-up paddleboarding places and cool hikes down there. So that's cool. And then California, I lived there for 6 years. So driving down the one, going to Mendocino, going to wine country, like, oh my gosh, all awesome. Oregon coast.
All
I'm
right.
big on the West Coast, obviously. I love the West Coast just because of nature. And with COVID, everyone wants to be outside anyway.
I'm the
So,
exact way.
yeah.
We're lucky that we grew up in Idaho. That's for sure.
Yeah. And I need to make it up to Coeur d'Alene again. It's been forever.
No.
I've never been to Coeur d'Alene in summer, which is very sad.
Oh my God.
Only in April and in the winter time. So
Yeah, you need to come up this summer.
I know, I do. The lake is looking awesome.
Yes. All right. So we have your Instagram. What are other ways if people are trying to get a hold of you, want to follow your blog, do your masterclass, any of that stuff? What's the best way to get a hold of you?
Great. So I'm at Traveling Spud, traveling with one L, on Instagram. I'm Traveling Spud on Facebook. What else am I on? I'm Traveling Spud on YouTube. But my blog is www.travelingspud.com. And I think that's all. But if you want to sign up for the course or you're just interested, it's on my Instagram and it's linked up. So you can just click on the link and head on over and check out the page just to see if it's something you'd be interested in.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for giving me some of your time today.
Thank
And
you.
you just inspired me. Now I want to go plan some trips.
Hey, I'm so glad. It was so fun. I appreciate it.